How's it going, everybody? What up, YouTube Live? This is yours truly, Rama Screen, and I just finished watching the latest Twilight Zone episode. This is the brand new Twilight Zone series brought to you by Oscar-winning filmmaker Jordan Peele, and it airs on CBS All Access. And this season one, episode five, this all new episode happened to air at midnight, and I figured, you know what? I don't want to wait till the morning to actually watch this thing. I was so curious. I'm like, let me just watch it. And afterwards, I was like, I'm kind of tired. Maybe I should just get up in the morning. I should just sleep now and then wait till after I get up in the morning to do the review. But you know what? Screw it. Screw it. Screw it. So I keep finding myself saying, you know what, trying to and ended up I ended up changing my mind about waiting till later on. So bam, here I am at about 1:46 a.m. Thursday morning, April, what is it, April 28th? No, the 28th, 25th, April 25th, 2019. And I'm giving you my live review of the Twilight Zone season 1, episode 5, and the title is The Wunderkind. All right, so heads up, just like with many of my TV reviews and episode recaps, this too contains spoilers, not major spoiler, but spoiler as in like giving you the plot synopsis and the context. I will be keeping under wraps the twist ending, of course, because that's the appeal of Twilight Zone series. The twist ending in each of the episodes. So that part, I'm gonna, I'm not gonna reveal that to you. All right, you're gonna have to find that out for yourself when you watch this episode. Again, Rama Screen is an affiliate of CBS All Access. CBS All Access is CBS digital streaming service on which you can watch the Twilight Zone series. The only way to watch the Twilight Zone series. And so if you haven't subscribed yet, just go to my website, ramascreen.com, click on the CBS All Access banner that's on the sidebar of the homepage of my site. Just click that or click through that, and then just follow the instructions from there on the CBS All Access, and hopefully you subscribe, and then you can watch their shows like The Good Fight, Star Trek Discovery, and of course The Twilight Zone. Okay, enough with the jibber jabber. uh, so here's what happens in season 1, episode 5. It stars John Cho, one of my favorite actors. I interviewed him once on camera. So I'll provide the link in the description box below this video so you can watch my video interview with John Cho from about, I want to say, 3 years ago. Um, and then today's episode also co-stars Jacob Tremblay. Jacob Tremblay is this fantastic, talented young actor who's been in such movies as Room and Wonder, and unfortunately he was in The Predator, because the Predator, the reboot Predator, that one sucked ass. And but this year he was in, I mean, this year he stars in also in the movie Good Boys, which I watched at the South by Southwest, and it cracked me up. So Jacob Tremblay, talented young actor, John Cho as well, and the title is The Wunderkind. Uh, Wunderkind means prodigy child. Prodigy. My tongue. It's got to be this making live review at 1 a.m. in the morning. That's the problem here. Yeah, prodigy child. Child genius. And John Cho's character, Raph Hanks, is the wonderkind of his generation because he starts out being regarded as one of the most successful presidential campaign managers ever, and for such a young age, at his age. Um, And then you have another Wunderkind, this prodigy child, literally child, played by Jacob Tremblay, and his character's name is Oliver Foley. And guess what? He's running for president. So the episode starts out with Raph Hanks, John Cho's character, feeling all confident about the candidate that he was pushing for or is pushing for, and something happens, and the candidate loses, and so he gets fired, and now he's down on his luck, sitting in the bar, drinking himself to being a loser, whatever you want to call it. Um, and then he sees on the television screen this YouTube sensation, Oliver Foley, with millions of views, declaring that he is now running for president. So Raph Hanks sees that as an opportunity. He takes it, and the rest is that basically what you expect. He tries to convince Oliver Foley's parents, hey, you know what? He's got it. Oliver connects with people. He resonates with people. And the parents are like, but he's only 11 years old. What does he know? It's like, I'll help him. I'm helping. And the parents are like, you're an opportunist. You're an opportunist. And Raph Hanks says like, yes, I am. I am an opportunist. But guess what? I can make this happen. It's a win-win situation. Yes, I'm trying to find an opportunity to get back again, to restore my reputation again, as a successful campaign manager that I once was. And your son will get to be president. That's a win-win situation. So the rest of the episode, basically, what happens is that uh, Oliver Foley becomes president. So that's not the twist ending. All right. And Oliver Foley as a president, he is, what's the word I'm looking for here? He is ignorant. That that nice innocent child that you see at the beginning of the episode suddenly turns or takes a turn for the bad. Like he disregards Congress, he disregards procedural or protocols. um he, because his campaign promises are ridiculous. Like he promises everybody a free video game set, and so he's like he tells everybody, the chief of staff, his cabinet members, to like, hey, do what I say. What I say goes. But this but Mr. President, you gotta, there's this thing called checks and balances. No, I'm the president. All right. Either you do what I say, or you fulfill my campaign promises, or I'm gonna get somebody else who would do that in your place. So he becomes authoritarian, basically. This Jacob Tremblay's character, Oliver Foley, and that really ultimately it shakes Raph Hanks to his core, and it's like, how come nobody stands up to him? Like, I think he's turning evil here. Let's, you know what? I'm gonna do it. And of course, he is advised by everybody around the president. It's like, don't do it, don't do it, don't 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 try to tell the president to his face, hey, what you're doing is wrong, because you're gonna be labeled a traitor. You're gonna be charged with treason. And so I want to leave that synopsis at that. The What comes after that, it does get spoilery. So that's the twist. That's where the twist ending kind of comes in. So I'm gonna leave that to you, for you guys to watch or to find out for yourself when you watch this episode. Okay, so here's my thoughts. The episode clearly parodies or makes fun of Donald Trump. It's it doesn't take a genius. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. You could tell that Jacob Tremblay's character, Oliver Foley, is an equivalence to, or an illustration, or what's the word I'm looking for here? It takes after, or it models Donald Trump. Not that Donald Trump is a literal child, but Donald Trump has been described as a man child because his demands are ridiculous, and just like Oliver Foley is a YouTuber, an online personality, Donald Trump is a Twitter master. He too is an online personality. He's more like a Twitter troll. So that's one comparison. The other one are his demands, just like some of the things that you see on Donald Trump's tweets. It's like I think recently he asks, or not asks, like he demands New York Times, because he calls New York Times fake news. He demands New York Times an apology, but not just an apology. I think he says something along the lines of like, when is the New York Times gonna be begging on their knees, uh, asking for apology from me, like what, something to that effect. And I'm like, holy crap. That's what you see here through, or in the form of Oliver Foley, Jacob Tremblay's character, because his requests are just so ridiculous, and he bosses people around, and if you don't follow him, he either you get fired or you get framed for treason, whatever, right? So both Oliver and Donald Trump both have fascist tendencies. Fascism, as you know, is authoritarian, like one leader controlling everybody or everything in the country. So that is clearly an indication that this episode wants to parody Donald Trump. The whole context parodies his rise to presidency, basically, because um, Donald Trump, just like Oliver Foley, they don't know shit, both of them, about politics. They they want to bulldoze through checks and balances, because they're like, man, because they see checks and balances or Congress as a nuisance rather than a part of or a government branch, or like a part of, or a functional part of our society. So man, that's number one. All right, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that this episode parodies Donald Trump. Now, my thoughts number two, and I tweeted about this. This episode is also somewhat of an homage to a very classic and memorable episode from the original black and white Twilight Zone series, the old one, hosted by Rod Serling. And I'm talking about the episode titled It's a Good Life. Uh, my fellow Twilight Zone fans would remember uh, that in It's a Good Life, the story was about this boy who had mind powers. So, um, and he was feared by everybody in the town. Like literally, everybody was scared shitless of him because he can control things. Like for example, this is how scared the townsfolk were. That he would set rules, like he would say, like, "Oh, you, everybody can only watch TV at 3 p.m. in the afternoon for an hour, and then that's it. Nobody else can watch." It's like, and it's like everybody just follows him because if they don't follow him, he'll use his telekinetics, mumbo jumbo power thing from his head, and turns them into whatever, or forces them to hurt themselves. For example, I think one example that happens to one of the townsfolk is that he turns him into a Jack in the Box kind of, Jack in the Box toy. So Everybody fears him. Everybody follows him. Now, the difference between that and this episode is that um, instead of fearing, you know, everybody around Oliver Foley, Jacob Tremblay's character, everybody around him, with the exception of John Cho's character, Ralph Hanks, everybody obeys and follows him like a cult. And that also is a commentary uh, about Donald Trump supporters. They will, like, like what he said, I can shoot somebody on the Fifth Avenue and I won't lose anybody's vote, or like I'll still get my base's support, something along that line. And it's true. It's true. If you see what happens today, man, like the his followers, it doesn't matter how dumb, because the emperor's got no clothes on. He really shows to the world how dumb he is through his tweets. It's out in the open, right? When it's out in the open, it's clear. You can see that he doesn't know shit. And yet his followers see that and like, yeah, all right, my leader is dumb and I don't care because he's like God, man. And it's a cult of personality thing. It's a cult. Um, and you see that happens in this episode with everybody around and everybody around Oliver Foley uh really like devoted. It's like full devotion. So when somebody like Ralph Hanks tries to stand up to Oliver Foley, they see that as treason. It's like, whoa. So some anything that resembles differences of opinion, or a counter argument to the president, it's treason. Um, in the case of Donald Trump, uh, if there is some coverage or article that fact checks him, or counter argues him because he lies a lot, if there's anything like that, he would say fake news, fake news, fake news. Um, I think he also meddles or delves with the word treason a couple times on some of his tweets. Not necessarily to the press or the media, but to some people who used to work for him, and now they don't work for him anymore, and they write books, because they want to sell books. They want to capitalize on the fact that they used to work for Donald Trump, because they're opportunists too. So, and I think he would say like, "Oh, treason, treason! You betrayed me, whatever," to anybody that does that to him. So, it really is a parody of Donald Trump, and the episode is an homage to that classic episode. It's a Good Life. So that's my first two thoughts. Those are my first two thoughts. The next one is, I want to comment real quick on the performance of Jacob Tremblay. I think, again, he's a fantastic young actor. You should see him in this episode. The way he throws tantrum, the way he turns into this brat, this young a-hole, because you don't expect that from somebody like Jacob Tremblay. Even in the Good Boys, he's not that dickish, but in this one, holy crap! Like Jacob Tremblay has this um adorable face, like adorable presence about him. But man, he runs with this character, man. He runs with it to the end zone. He really knocks this one out of the park. He really looks amazing and convincing as um this childish, ignorant president that you want to hate so bad. So high credit to Jacob Tremblay. Um, John Cho, the thing is, as an Asian, I love actors like John Cho, because John Cho doesn't do martial art movies, so he taps into the roles that are meant for usually um, for other leading men, like for example Chris Pine, for example. I'm using that as an example. And you see him, or you saw him last year in Searching, which was one of my favorite movies of 2018. And he was also in other movies, like I think the other one was Columbus. That was a good one as well. So as a character actor, John Cho gets it. And with regards to this specific actor, Raph Hanks, man, um, John Cho really encapsulates uh, Raph Hanks' ambition-driven, thirst for something bigger than himself. Like he is driven, he's motivated by trying to prove to the world that he's not a loser. Um, and 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 to him, it's like whatever it takes, whatever it takes. Um, I'm gonna wear that label, opportunist, as a badge of honor. I'm gonna wear it on my sleeve. I'm not gonna be embarrassed to be called opportunist, because that's what I am. That's what I am. and oh man, so and John Cho really plays that with full conviction, man. I love him in this episode. So to see these two fantastic actors with such a story, um, it was very rewarding. It's very rewarding as an audience. Now, are there criticisms about this? Yes, I think. Well, for one, after let me just give you a bird's eye view. Number one, I think after um, the third episode replay, remember that, which talked about police brutality, um, and then the fourth episode starring Stephen Yoon, which kind of talked about xenophobia a little bit. Um, and now this, which is also a commentary of our today's current state of affairs in our country, America. So after those three episodes, I would not blame anybody who has been following this new Twilight Zone. I would not blame them if they feel like, you know what, what's with all these social commentary, trying too hard to be relevant stuff? Why can't we just get some mind trippy episodes like the first two? With the comedian vanishing act, and the second episode on the airplane, and with the paranoia thriller, and an homage to the William Shatner episode. Like, why can't we have more of that? Why do you gotta have this need so badly to speak about today's current society? So I think after three episodes, I would not blame anybody who may feel like I don't know, like they're tapped out when it comes to uh, episodes that try too hard to be relevant. Now, my counter argument to that is that I for this one specifically, um, the timing is good, and why the hell not? Why the hell not? There have been many people, including Stephen Colbert through that animated series, that and late night hosts. And there are many people making fun of Donald Trump on a daily basis, right? Um, that's like a Tuesday, that's like a Wednesday thing. But the way this episode mocks him, it really captures that essence about Donald Trump, not just his fascist tendencies, not just his ignorance, but also his temper tantrum, his obsession with spewing things out on social media. Um, why not? I think this is the closest to illustrating what Donald Trump's presidency is like. The other ones, the late night hosts, the anime series thing, sometimes they go off the rail. Sometimes they go, they want to come up with a story that just kind of like, I don't know if that's Donald Trump. I don't see that. You're just inserting your own, your humor now, your own comedy. In this one, in the form of the character Oliver Foley, the writers really like. It's as if they're in the writers room, like, okay, so let's let's make a list, a bunch of bullet points of the traits or the characteristics of Donald Trump that are so out in the open right now, or so like, or the characteristics that, or the traits that people hate about him, you know, and incorporate those into Oliver Foley. And so I say, why the hell not? I think this is the closest of all the mockeries of Donald Trump out there. This is the closest illustration of him, and so why the hell not? Why the hell not? It's a decent effort if that is the goal. Um, Now, again, though, Donald Trump supporters are like cult followers. I don't know whether or not they're gonna like this episode. Frankly, I don't care whether or not they like this episode. um, it it's not, when it comes to the twist ending. It's not the most mind blowing, but I give you this: it is much better than last week's twist ending. The one with the aliens coming in right in the middle of when that deputy is confronting that sheriff. I mentioned to you that as much as I like the X Files, and then that, that's an homage to the X Files. I'm assuming so. Um, that whole reveal was just so unwarranted. It's like misplaced. Like, you have this conflict, like it's not being explored, or like it doesn't have a proper ending, and then you just flew in those guys, and like, ah, how did those two connect? I So compared to that, the twist ending in this one actually makes more sense. Um, Makes more sense as into the story at hand, because of course in the world of the Twilight Zone, they play around with what makes sense. So I like this was ending a lot better than last week's. But it's not mind blowing. It's not a curveball, hitting you from the left or whatever, right? It's not something that gonna go like, uh, but it's just like, it's a twist ending that, like, oh, of course, they would go that direction. That's what I'm trying to imply without revealing what that twist ending is to you. So that's my thought about that. Overall, it's an okay episode. It's not bad. Again, maybe for the next one we can come back to some mind trippy stuff instead of um, social commentary issue. But I don't know if they're gonna listen to my request. Again, it's an episode, this one, that really really makes fun of Donald Trump. So if you love Donald Trump, um, it might rub you the wrong way. And if you love Donald Trump and you're like, well, I don't see nothing wrong with this episode, then yeah, then what the episode is trying to convey goes straight right over your head because you're so oblivious to it. Um, but yeah, so those are my thoughts. I don't want to say too much again. It's a lot of spoilers here for the twist ending. So uh, that's it. That's my review of Twilight Zone season 1, episode 5, titled "The Wunderkind." And share your thoughts if you've seen the episode as well. It airs on CBS All Access. Rama Screen is an affiliate of CBS All Access. Again, if you haven't subscribed to that streaming service, you can do so by going to my website, click on the CBS All Access banner, click through it. It'll take you to their site, follow the instructions there, and voila, you can subscribe and watch the Twilight Zone episodes as well. All right. And press that like button, ring that bell. And if you can help support this channel, please do so at patreon.com/ramascreen. Let's rock this.